Welcome, and I mean welcome back to football season. I'm Jason Andera, and I am more thankful than ever that it's the beginning of high school football season. Yes, we've been through a lot with the pandemic, but my wish is for each and every player, coach, and fan that we get through this season safely and create some memories to last a lifetime. As we look over the state of football in South Dakota, we're going to dive deep into each class, and I'll give my votes for preseason rankings. Plus, we'll hear from players and coaches that hope to make a title run. Let's start in the state's largest class. Lately, AAA has been dominated by Sioux Falls Public Schools, who had won 12 straight titles until the last two seasons. Those titles went to Brandon Valley in 2018 and O'Gorman last year. O'Gorman turned their late season around as they beat Harrisburg, Roosevelt, and Brandon Valley on their way to a championship. This season, they have some important parts back, but as always, we'll need to find some answers before hunting for another title.
I think we understand that you don't have to be perfect all the way through. You just have to improve and be playing your best football at the end, and you've got time. It's not, you don't have to be there right now because nobody is.
Although the Knights are definitely in the hunt, I don't have them at number one going into the season. That spot belongs to the Roosevelt Rough Riders. They have dominant playmakers, a strong line, and a solid defensive core. But the question mark right now is at quarterback. Two sophomores, Taylon Ashley and Bennett Dannenbring, as well as senior Jacob Duval, are all in the running. All look good so far, but Coach Kim Nelson is going to try to avoid rotating them once the season starts.
And I feel good about any one of them right now. So, but we're going to pick one and have a starter, and roll from there pretty soon. So, but I think maybe the key for us on offense is our offensive line.
Me and a couple others have been playing for 3 years, and then everyone else we've been playing for 2 years except one, but he got reps last year. So we all know each other, and we all in groove with each other, so we know what's going on and everything. Like every play, we're all in unison, and we're just in sync, honestly.
We're big up front. We're fast at receiver. The key position is going to be the quarterback spot for us. We're inexperienced there. So that's we're going to have to go slow and limit how much we try to do and just try to get good at certain things so that by the end of the season we can maybe add some things then.
There's a lot of competition. I love every single one of them back there. Like, honestly, either way, you couldn't go wrong with any of them. They're all great players and stuff like that.
Coming in at number 2, the Lynx. They bring back 11 AAA Player of the Year, Tate Johnson. Plus, they have one of the top outside weapons in Jackson Hilton and solid all-state players on defense. But they, like Roosevelt, are looking for their next quarterback.
One, Matt Brown is a junior, Carson Astall is a junior, and then Lucas Slack is a sophomore. So those three will compete for that position, and we'll name a starter before, probably the Thursday before the first game or the Wednesday before the first game or whatever. So, and then go from there and see how they perform, and then if we have to make some adjustments, we will.
Well, we lost a lot of big senior players, but I feel like we can fill the roles. We just got to work. We're working. We're ready. Just ready to play.
It'll be tougher for Tate. He ran behind 5 seniors last year, and the year before that a very good offensive line also. So, this will be an inexperienced offensive line with 5 different guys. So it'll take some time, but yeah, he's going to get his touches, I'm sure. It might be in different ways that we have to get him touches, but he'll still get his share.
Sioux Falls, Washington enters a new era with Ryan Evans taking over at head coach, but they have a lot of big-time playmakers, including their quarterback, Max Thompson, all-state receivers Josh Piper and Tyus Hansen, and two D1 linebackers in Randolph Kapai and Jaden Federal.
We love our D, we do, and a lot of it starts with Randolph and Jaden, with those linebackers, and then you add in our D-line, our D-line mix with Aaron Thomas and Kendis Ledbetter and Jacob Woolhoy. We have a really good front on D.
I'm excited for us. We're going to be a force to be reckoned with for sure, and I'm excited to just outwork everyone because we're gonna be there when everyone else is sort of hands on their knees. We're going to be chest up, ready to go. We're rocking that Warrior pride, so I'm excited for it.
O'Gorman checks in at number 4, and their quarterback Tegan Schlimgen is confident that they can get it done.
we started low and we just kept going uphill, and that helped a lot. And obviously, it worked really good. And I think that this year we got to realize that and just keep going uphill and pushing each other, and good things will happen.
Harrisburg made their debut in AAA last year, and they could crack into the semifinal round this year. They have a lot of talent in their underclassmen, but they have a leader at quarterback that could emerge as one of the best in the state.
Yeah, we're young, but we've got experience. We've got some young, experienced players that'll help us a lot. We're really hopeful that we're going to have a great season here and surprise some people. Harrisburg football is up to something special.
Later in the show, we'll give you a list of top senior college prospects. But next, can Pierre make it 4 in a row? We'll preview 11AA when we come back.
This high school preview show on Midco Sports Network is presented by Nyberg's Ace and Avera Orthopedics.
Thanks for watching the Varsity Sports Live High School Preview Show. Pierre has had a stranglehold on Class 11AA for the last few seasons, but 2019 will go down as one of the most dominant in history. The Govs had more shutouts than they had games within 35 points. They rolled to their 3rd straight title when they beat Brookings 32-16. This season, they have just 5 starters back on offense and 3 on defense, and they will try to go back to back to back to back.
We're going to start back at the bottom now. You know, we're no longer on the top. That's our goal, is to finish up there, but we've got to start back down here, and it's uphill. It's no matter how good we feel we are, it's an uphill battle. There's going to be times where we've got to bring the pace down and go slow. There's going to be times where we really got to push, and you know, our guys have really embraced that, and crazy enough, they look forward to it every year. And you know, I think that's pretty much the same way we've got to continue to approach things, is put your head down, keep pushing forward, and make progress. As long as we're making progress, we'll get where we need to be.
I like to express it to my teammates, even the younger guys. Don't be the class that loses the Pete. Don't be it. Let's make it 4.
I have Pierre at number 1 in the class. McGuire Rasky, Reagan Bolwig, and Gunnar Gehring will carry the Governor tradition on one more year. Not far behind is Mitchell. They gave up too many big plays last year, but this season they have an improved defense and the return of Parker Phillips. That will make them a much bigger threat to win a title. Yankton has been down for a couple years, but they should bounce back this season. The Bucks bring a seasoned bunch to the field and a team that's hungry to win. Huron continues to build into a football school. They bring back Tyson Lean and Cade McNeil, which should make their offense much more potent. Sturgis is getting closer to becoming an upper echelon team in AA. They have a good 1-2 punch in the backfield and enough experience to field a formidable defense. When we come back, we roll into 11A. This class may have more contenders than any other. Find out which one I tabbed as the favorites. Welcome back. If this season is anything like last year in Class 11A, sign me up to watch. There seemed like a dozen teams that contended for the title, and after a couple of crazy rounds of playoffs, it was Lennox and Canton who were left playing for a title in Black and Blue Part 2. In Brookings, Canton left the field as champs, and Caden Verley etched his name as the best player to ever wear a Seahawks uniform. As we enter this season, your guess is as good as mine who could take the cake. Let's look at my rankings and my reasoning behind them. I'm going to go with Del Rapids at the number 1 spot.
We bring back quite a bit of our defense. We have several pieces on offense that we've got to replace from last year's team, but a lot of guys working hard and looking to fill in those spots.
We've had a lot of guys, mostly I think in my grade from our sophomore year when we went to the Dome that year. We've had a lot of guys that have really stepped up in positions, and it brought us what we needed last year, and I'm hoping it can bring the same thing this year.
Comes down to watching film, putting in the hours at practice, and paying attention and knowing what you're doing, especially with this COVID coming up. Anybody can step in at any time and play a big role for our team.
We're going to come ready this season.
In at number 2, the T-Area Titans. They've built a solid perennial winner in T, and this year's squad is deep once again. Austin Lake has more experience, and Luke Redadoll and Caden Ellingson are among the top linemen in the state. West Central could be a wild card. They had a chance to make a serious run last year, but came up just short in the playoffs. This year is year 2 under the coaching staff, and they seem to be ready to make a move. Canton is still a top 5 team, but their depth is maybe down just a little bit as they have to replace Caden Verley.
Returning depth in the class below us, left tackle Marshall Baldwin and nose tackle, very good. He's been playing since he's a freshman. He'll be a junior this year. And then our 2 defensive ends were freshmen last year. They'll be sophomores this year. I mean, being a freshman playing in the state championship, you can only get better. So looking for a lot of depth there. A running back, Xander Allen, you don't even get to hear about him. Starts on every other team, but when you have that many running backs, I think we're loaded with people that nobody's heard the name of, and I think it's going to be exciting to watch.
I mean, we do have some new people, so just getting the new guys in the flow of things, and should be all right then.
So we're excited for this year. We're pretty motivated to be able to go back-to-back because we've never been able to do that here at Canton.
Madison will round out my top 5, but they could be a championship-level team if all the pieces fall into place. I'd be remiss not to mention Dakota Valley, Lennox, Sioux Falls Christian, and Tri-Valley. They could all field contenders in this class as well. It'll be a lot of fun watching 11A once again. Next, we'll peek at the teams who start the season soon. 11B and the 9-man classes are coming up next.
This high school preview show on Midco Sports Network is presented by Avera Orthopedics and Nyberg's Ace.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Live South Dakota High School football preview show. Time to look at Class 11B. Last season in this class felt like a 2-team race all season long. We were treated to the best championship game of any class when the Bridgewater Emory-Ethan Seahawks and the Winter Warriors locked up for a title. The Seahawks ended up winning a thriller with their defense in the second half. In at number 1 in my preseason outlook is Winter. The Warriors bring back a terrific quarterback in Brady Fritz and a lot of experience on the line. They'll be challenged, however, once again by BEE. The Seahawks come back without their big playmakers from a year ago, but they do have a deep and strong senior and junior class. They have All-State lineman Josh Barcher back, and will have some new and young playmakers who will grow up throughout the season. Sioux Valley didn't graduate any of their top rushers, passers, or receivers, plus they have their top 4 tacklers back on defense. Watch out for the Cossacks. McCook Central Montrose has some big boys in the backfield, and they can improve on last year's 8-2 mark. St. Thomas More has a speed weapon in Ryan Wojcik, but can they be balanced as they try to replace Ryder Kirsch at quarterback? Time to move to the 9-man ranks. In 9AA last season, the Viborg-Hurley Cougars didn't surprise anyone that they were good, but may have surprised everyone just how good they were. They were going to try for an encore this season. Can they be even better?
How we can be better this year is doing all those little things right. There's a big target. Everybody's going to come play their best game against you because everybody wants to be king of the hill,
Even though the 12-0, you can't really be better than that, but just be altogether a better team. We knew that we could have the chance to do that, and so coming into this year, just know that we had to keep humble and just come to practice, focus, and keep working every day to improve.
Yeah, it's a little different, because in the past, we were all kind of doubted. Nobody thought we'd go or do as well as we did, so it feels a little different. We have a target on our backs for sure, because nobody wants to see us repeat what we did last year, but we just got to come out and work hard just like always and don't take anybody lightly.
Not shockingly, Viborg-Hurley sits atop my look at 9AA. Their wealth of talent and depth give them an upper hand in each and every game they play. It might shock you, though, that I have Lemon McIntosh coming in at number 2. They played VH as close as anyone last year, And their all-everything quarterback Cody Thompson returns to ramp it up another notch. Bonham has been strong the last few seasons and should continue that trend this year. They'll miss Noah Haish, who will miss the season due to an ACL injury this summer. Dual is starting to become a year-in, year-out favorite in the Northeast. Their undersized but overpowering running back Carter Hoffman is primed for a big year. Platte Geddes is my surprise team. They have 7 starters back and some very good talent. In 9A, Canistota-Freeman beat out a very competitive 9A field. And this season, they're the favorites once again with 6 starters and quite possibly the best in 9-man football.
You know, we had a great season last year, very excited about that, and these boys kind of roll through, and we got a great set of seniors, so I don't think there's any sort of a championship hangover with these boys. Our seniors been geared up, ready. You know, they were upset that it took us a while to get things started this spring, but since we got rolling, it's been rolling. Great set of senior leadership that really stepped up this year, took control, and they want to win their own as seniors. They don't want to just rest on what we've done in the past.
Sit around all summer not knowing if we have football or not, and then to find out that we do, it gets you really excited for the season.
Our first goal is to get that conference championship. We failed in that like the last 2 or 3 years, so that's our first goal. And to do that, we got to win every game. So then we'll go into the playoffs, see how that goes, and hopefully we can get there. I mean, we got 9 seniors. We're all leaders on the team, so hopefully we can get it done.
Here are my top teams in 9A. Canistota is loaded on both sides of the ball, and I think Tice Ortman is the best player in the class. Howard went 8-2 last year and have high expectations to pick up right where they left off. DeSmet is young, but emerging as one of the deepest teams in the class. Gregory loses some all-state talent, but Coy Detterman is poised for a breakout year for the Gorillas. Warner's running game could be near unstoppable as they try to become a state title contender this year. Last season, Colman-Egan ran the table on their way to their 2nd straight state title. They had a convincing 58-6 win over Harriet Selby.
You know, I make sure they understand all the time that it's a new year, and you even tell them you didn't win it. The past year's seniors won it. So there's really not an issue with that. They stay motivated and you know, they enjoy competing and working together as a team, and so it hasn't been difficult at all.
I mean, running backs run hard because the line's blocking good, and since the running backs are running even better, then the line starts blocking even harder.
So, you know, as a team on offense, you know, we're going to be bigger than we have been, and just hopefully we can use some athleticism and do some things right.
They will figure into the 9B race prominently. They have a very heavy makeup of seniors on this team. Here's a look at how I voted in the 9B rankings. Even though Colman-Egan returns a great team, I like the Warbirds. Wolsey Wessington is loaded with talent despite having to replace Skylar Zomer at quarterback. The defending champs come in at number 2 with a very potent group that will be able to run the ball up and down the field. Del Rapids St. Mary has some all-state talent back and want to revenge last year's quarterfinal loss.
Great group of kids coming up here, and you know, we've probably got more competition than we've ever had. We have a lot of kids that really showing they want to get on the field.
I think we're pretty big. I mean, I think we got the biggest line probably in school history. We got 7 or 8 guys over 215, which we've never had before, you know. So, I mean, I think we're going to be able to run really well, and I think we got a lot of athletes people don't know about. So, I mean, I'm excited to see what this team can do.
You know, I feel like we can do it all. We're looking to be able to make a lot of plays this season, put a lot of points on the board.
Really stick to the game plan and really get after it from the beginning of the game and never let up, I guess.
My face lives for the camera.
Langford area has virtually everyone back and could rock the boat a little bit in this class. Alcester Hudson comes in at number 5 behind their All-Stater Jackson Daring. That's a quick look at 9-man football. For a more in-depth preview, go to midcosn.com and check out my blog. Stay with us, there's still more to come. We'll give you a look at some of the biggest impact players in high school football. Before we go, we thought we'd share a list of top prospects in South Dakota. Here are a few seniors the college scouts are all over. Starts with Randolph Kapai, headed to Nebraska next year. He's already one of the best linebackers in Washington history. Tyler Feldkamp, still undecided, but the all-time leading receiver at Roosevelt. Tommy Thompson may be the best quarterback to come back in the state. How about Connor Pavelko? This guy is one of the best kickers in the nation. He's got colleges all over looking at his talents. Reese Burkhardt already decided to go to SDSU next year. He's a 6'8" tight end and defensive end. Jaden Federer's headed to the University of North Dakota to play Division I football. He's another D1 linebacker at Washington. Sam Cole's headed to USD next year. He is going to be a big guy on a line that returns 4 starters for Roosevelt this year. Reagan Bolwig, another SDSU commit. He does everything for Pierre. He's going to probably focus on defense at the next level. Kobe Mashin may be one of the top talents that's yet undecided where he's going to play. He could be an FBS or FCS signee in the coming months. Caden Ellingson from T, another big guy on the defensive side. He's headed to USD next year. Angel Johnson has a lot of choices, already has an SDSU offer, but probably the fastest player on this entire list. And then there's Chase Mason. He's got FBS offers to play quarterback, but may decide to play baseball instead, or you never know, he could play football and baseball at the next level. I have much more in-depth coverage on my blog at midcosn.com. Also, be ready for live football all season long on Midco SN. Can't wait to share it with you. We'll see you out there on the field.